Pour a cold one and sit back for an all-new episode of Pints and Quarts, presented by Craft Beer Nation.
We have is Neil Witte from Boulevard Brewing Company in Kansas City. There's Jacob Berg representing DC Beer behind us, making this cameo appearance. Neil, you're like one of 7 types of a certain Cicerone.
You're trying to think of the Master Cicerone. There's 9.
9.
Yeah.
And you're one of them.
Yes, I am.
Royalty, ladies and gentlemen, right here.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I totally forgot there was 2 more added recently because I was like, I just told them he's 1 of 7. I'm like, yeah.
So there's more Master Cicerones than there are Trappist breweries. So you are exquisite.
I think the Trappist breweries are actually getting up there. I think we've got we might have 10
There's 10 now.
I'm starting to lose count. But yeah, we're kind of like neck and neck. We keep passing each other.
So Neil, what is your role at Boulevard?
So I do training and field quality for distributors, retailers, and for our own sales team around the country.
Training as in you teach your reps how to taste beer?
That's part of it. So
Okay.
anything and everything beer related.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long have you been with them?
I've been with Boulevard for 17 years.
Wow.
Awesome.
We had Jeremy. Look at Linda. She's
Awesome. Take 7.
Take 7. We interviewed Jeremy Danner. Maybe it was. How long ago was that, guys? Was that?
It was maybe 2 months ago now. I think it was in April.
We have someone else with the Boulevard.
We had a good time with him. That was when you guys just put out your the Callin IPA.
Yeah. We're pouring that here tonight.
Right, I saw that, and that's a great beer. And you guys specifically called that beer your most hop-forward beer yet to date, right?
Yeah, I would say it probably is. It's not our highest IBU beer, but it is probably the most hop forward because
Right.
you have to account for all of the aromas and flavors that you're getting from the hops too. So
Right.
it's a big kind of punch in the nose of a bright, juicy, aromatic hop aroma and flavor, plus a pretty big hop bitterness.
Yeah, and that's saying a lot. I think a lot of people don't realize that hops just aren't about. Well, saying it's hop forward doesn't just mean that it's all IBUs. Hops contribute aroma, hops contribute flavor.
Absolutely,
So,
yeah. The hop oils are going to give you a ton of aroma and flavor besides the bitterness. And it also depends on the method that you're using them in. So if you're putting them in the boil, you're going to get some, if you put them in at the end of the boil, you get some good aroma and flavor. But a lot of brewers nowadays are trying to maximize that aroma and flavor. They're putting them in the fermenter. It's a process called dry hopping. A lot of people listening probably heard about that, and that's putting hops in the fermenter. You extract those hop oils, and you get really bright, fresh hop aroma and flavor, but it doesn't add to the bitterness of the beer.
Right.
So it's a really unique, it's a unique methodology that that just maximizes that great hop character.
Gives you that great nose that's
Yeah.
gonna pair just really well with the flavors that you get from the hops.
Yeah.
We have any questions from you guys for Neil?
Real quick, I do. I'm going to jump in. This is an idiot question just because you mentioned dry hopping. I've always blown my mind why dry hopping and wet hopping are antagonists, but they don't mean the same thing in the brewing industry. Why is that?
It could be a little confusing, the dry hopping, wet hopping thing. So dry hopping is the process of putting hops in the fermenter to get aroma and flavor from the hop oils. Wet hopping is where you take hops, where you acquire hops from a grower right after they've been harvested. Because you have to understand a little bit about the preparation of hops. They harvest them from the field, and then they dry them before they either pelletize them or bale them, and then send them out to brewers. That way they don't spoil. If they remain wet, they'll spoil within a matter of days. Certain brewers you can contract with a grower and have them literally fly fresh hops to you straight from the field before they're dried, and you use them in either the kettle or in the dry hopping procedure or however you want while they're still wet. And so you are really maximizing a lot of the aromas and flavors that way. So, it's kind of two different things. Wet hop is describing the nature of the hops as you receive them. Dry hopping is really a procedure you use, whether it's a wet hop or a traditional pelletized or dried flower hop. So you can actually be in a situation where you have a wet hop, dry hop.
There you go. That's true. Yeah, I never thought about that.
That's exactly right. Yes, exactly. Blows my mind. It's like.
There's also that third method that's I think it's proprietary now for Sierra Nevada, but they get the hops right out of the field, and they have a special train car that they're able to distill and capture the hop
Yeah, I don't know a ton about the process.
Yeah.
It's brand new, but they're able to extract the oils in a manner where they can reproduce. They're saying that they can reproduce the wet hop character with these oils they're extracting in the field before the hops are dried, and so they can produce essentially a wet hop beer year round.
Yeah.
And the one IPA that they have out
Hop
with that,
Hunter.
the Hop Hunter
Mm-hmm.
is a pretty good example of that. I mean, it does have some real fresh hop character.
Yeah.
Fresh hop is really another term that you could use for wet
hop.
Wet hop or fresh hop.
So let me ask you, and so going back to Boulevard, and I know you guys are now sister companies with Omegon, right?
Yeah, that's right. We're both part of the Duvel family of beers now.
So I know I had a beer from you. It was just collaboration number 4. It was a Saison.
Yeah, it was a spiced Saison that we did with Brewery Omegon.
It was really good. Do you guys have anything else coming out with them soon? Another collaboration?
We don't have any collaborations with Brewery Omegon. We do have another collaboration coming very soon, and I hesitate to say who it is. I'm not sure if it's an official word yet, but stay tuned because it's going to be really cool. They're going to kill me either way if I say it.
No one's going to know. No one's going to know.
Yeah, I'm only talking on a microphone.
It's a secret. It's a secret.
Yeah.
Give us
Stay
initials.
tuned. It's gonna be a really good one.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Any more
I have
questions,
a quick
guys?
question. Yeah, I do. First of all, my favorite beer is Saison Brett. I mean, fantastic brew. And I know that's a dry hopped Saison. I think Tank 7, correct?
Yeah, Tank 7 is the base beer for Saison Brett.
Yeah. Now, what is it? A blend of hops you dry hop that with? Is it a single hop?
It's mainly Amarillo. There's a little bit of Citra in there as well, but the main hop character that you get from dry hopping in Tank 7 is Amarillo, which to me provides kind of a grapefruity characteristic.
Yeah, it's a citrus bomb for a Saison, and oh man, my favorite Boulevard beer.
Great.
Awesome. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that Alan is actually working on his Cicerone.
Awesome.
On getting his Cicerone certification.
Very
Yeah,
good.
I just need to take the tasting because I kind of screwed that up last time. Probably should be saying this live on the air, but I'll admit it. I screwed up the tasting.
Yeah, no embarrassment in that. That's awesome that you're going for that.
Quick question on Take 7. I a couple years ago visited a buddy who lived in Omaha, Nebraska, and we were at Beertopia, one of the big beer stores there. And and the guy that worked behind the counter told me a story about how Tank 7 got its name.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you elaborate on that?
Absolutely. So you mentioned Saison Brett before, and how and I said Tank 7 is the base beer for Saison Brett. One of the original smokestack beers was a different version of a Saison that we did, and we all really liked it at the brewery, but it wasn't really selling as much as we had hoped it would for a number of reasons. And so we were doing a stronger version of that beer that was dry hopped and making Saison Brett. So we would dry hop a stronger version of that, add Brettanomyces for bottle conditioning, and that was Saison Brett, and it was incredibly popular. Well, one year we were making that beer, and we were drinking the base beer when it was finished. It was in the tank, and drinking it out of the vessel, and discussion ensued about how great of a beer it was. This is before the Brett was added. I was like, hey, this is a really great beer. Maybe it could stand on its own. One thing leads to another. We ended up releasing that as a standalone beer to replace Saison, and we named it after the tank that people were drinking it out of, Tank number 7.
Nice.
So that's the story behind Tank 7.
You're not going to have to worry about too many people suing you for that name either, so that's a good one.
So is it correct to assume that your wild beers, they're not open fermented? They're not spontaneously fermented?
No, they're not. We don't do spontaneous fermentation. And now, I should say that some of our barrel-aged beers, like Love Child, for instance, has a number of sour barrel-aged beer. So, in a sense, there's spontaneous fermentation there because there's resident microflora in those barrels that is spontaneously fermenting the beer and creating sour characteristics. So, in a sense, it's mixed fermentation because those beers had primary fermentation with a cultured yeast strain, and then we aged them in barrels, and they developed sour characteristics naturally. So there's an element of wild fermentation there. Not in the true sense like a lambic production.
Yeah, you guys make great stuff. I mean, anything with smokestack on it is money. Even if I have no idea what it is, it's going to be good. And I think I'm a big Belgian beer guy, and I think a lot of guys make triples, but most American guys that make triples, they have this kind of bubblegum extract flavor to them. And you know, long strength triple is the best American triple out there on the market, I think.
Thank you. Stephen Powell's our brewmaster. I'll give him all the credit in the world, and our amazing brewing staff that execute perfectly. They're all really good at what they do. I couldn't be prouder of what they produce all the time.
Well, you keep making it, we'll keep drinking it, man.
Excellent.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Yeah, it's great talking. I'm Neil Witte from Boulevard Brewing Company, and this is Pints and Quarts presented by Craft Beer Nation.